physical meeting very soon, right? And I'm looking forward to that and getting to know, some of you. I actually only know William sir, and once in a while I've spoken to Joel. I do not know many people here. That's my fault, but yeah. So this is a wonderful evening, and the conversation that I am planning to do is about business fatigue, or basically a holistic life. So let me put it this way to you. When I was when William sir asked me, Sony, would you be, 1 minute, let me just set this. I would, 1 minute. Yeah, sorry about that. I was just, yeah, let me hide. I'm just hiding myself because looking at myself, it feels weird, right? So I was just hiding myself on the screen, right? I hope I'm looking at you all directly. Yeah. So when William sir asked me, Sony, would you be willing to share something? And I'm like, yes, for me, it's always about wholeness of life, celebrating life. And we were thinking about ideas, and that's how we ended up with this topic. And it's a beautiful topic. It's very close to my heart. And how I'm going to share this is from my own experience, or I'm just going to share with you, or I'm going to present myself to you with all my flaws. So please be kind with me. I'm going to share my flaws with you, and I'm going to just share how I experience this, and I'm experiencing and I am battling with this, right? So that's the conversation that I have thought about today. I would be sharing about 6 different reasons why we might experience fatigue in business. And I would also suggest some methodologies in which we can try to use. I'm not saying all 6 might resonate, but some of it might resonate. I'm just hoping that the time that you spend with me, I would do justice to it, right? So thank you again for this opportunity, William sir and Joel, for introducing me. And thank you all for taking the time on Saturday evening to be here with the ICBN family. ICBN has got great ambitions to connect us all so that we can all grow together. And as Jonathan sir was praying, he mentioned how we can, in this less favorable land, we can come together like a force to become favorable, not because we have something magical or anything, but because we are witnesses, right? So absolutely. And that for that to happen, first we need to be with full energy, and fatigue is something that drains our energy, right? So business origin, there might be different reasons why people get into business, but there are generally, in my understanding, by the way, anytime during the session, if you want to add something that I missed out, just put it on the chat box. I will look into the chat box. Or if there are any questions you want me to address, just put it on the chat box. I will address it in between each of the pauses, right? So no need to wait till the end as well. I will try to make it as conversational as possible. So coming back, business origins, in my understanding, there are 2 ways generally why people start a business. One is to translate their passion into something impactful to the world, or to earn a living, or whichever reason. That is one of the areas, the passion. And the second is a person who has the ability to see an opportunity or a skill that they can leverage to start a business, right? These are generally the reasons why people start businesses in the nascent thought of being an entrepreneur or whatever. In generally, there might be many sub reasons, but we're not getting into that, right? So these are the 2 reasons why generally people start a business. And I am the one, I, like many of you, I believe that I started this journey as a solopreneur or an entrepreneur from an area of passion, as I was, as my passion is to help people celebrate life, or that is my purpose, I would say, right? But for me to say this, I had to go through some journey, and that journey is what I'll be sharing with you today. One of the beauty that we as entrepreneurs have is that we get to spend most of our resources for the so-called purpose or passion or calling that we have. Well, many people may not have that luxury at times, right? I'm not saying they am not, I'm just saying they may not have the luxury at times. But did you know that there was a survey that was conducted, right? And in that survey, the question was asked, if you were to meet a supreme power or a god, and you get to ask one question. What a question would you ask? In that survey, surprisingly, the third highest question was, why do bad things happen? Right? And the second highest question was, is there life after death? The first most important question the large number of people asked, what is my purpose on earth? Why am I on earth? That was the first or the largest number of people that asked that question, right? So that is the question that many of us ask, whether we are in business or we are entrepreneurs or solopreneurs or we are running a shop or we are working for somebody. It doesn't matter, but what is our purpose is a question the young and the old ask. And that, my friends, is the first source of burnout as entrepreneurs or business owners. The conflict between your purpose and passion. Let me repeat that. That's the first source of burnout. Let me explain that a little bit, because purpose and passion is something that energizes us. Then why would it be a burnout, right? As some of you might be thinking, because even when I was much more younger and so much more naive in the world, I thought that once you live your passion and your purpose, you will never get exhausted. You will feel full of energy. But life taught me otherwise, that there are even you can live your purpose and passion and still feel burned out. So that's the first area that I want to share with. That is, when your passion and your purpose, how they cause burnout. So first, let's look at what passion is. Right? We all have different explanation of and understanding of passion. For me, passion is said, or not for me, but from a dictionary and other places that I looked at passion is said to be a strong and barely controllable emotion, an intense driving or overwhelming feeling or conviction, a strong liking or a desire for or devotion to some activity, object, or concept. Passion is a little tricky to define, but it is easier to recognize because passion is expressive, right? Passion gives you boundless energy. It is intense, almost, it's like so single-minded. The passion, like you can do hours in it and you would not feel anything about it, right? So let me ask you, why would passion, that is such a beautiful thing that energizes you, also burn you out? So let me frame this question in this way. If you had all the time in the world, if there were no obligations in life and money was not a constraint, what would you do? This is one of the questions that is generally asked to understand passion. Because passion can be many, many passions. It's not like you only have one type of passion. It can be, like, to give you an example, I'm passionate about drawing. I'm passionate about cooking. I'm passionate about spending time with friends and family. I'm passionate about speaking. I'm passionate about mentoring. I'm passionate about writing, driving cross country. I'm passionate about restoring and maintaining my cars and other vehicles. I am actually looking forward to a time where I can, modify my vehicle by myself. That's something that I'm passionate about, right? I'm passionate about having a farm. Now, all of these are my areas of passion. If I were to ask you the same question, apart from your craft or what you do for a living, is there a passion that suddenly comes to your mind? You can put it in the chat box. If something, it should not be your craft, right? World tour. That's what William Sir says. Absolutely. That's fantastic passion. Any other passion, people, any other alternative passion than the craft? You can just drop it in the chat box there. Right. Cool. It's okay. So let me help put it into a better context. Now that we know what passion is, let me also look at what passion and the difference between purpose and passion is, right? Let's assume that we are lighting a fire, right? So think about lighting a fire. Now, the passion is the fuel required to make the fire burn. That is passion. Now, while the purpose is the reason why the fire is lit. Let me repeat that. The passion is the fuel that makes the fire burn. But purpose is the reason why the fire is lit. What you want to achieve by kindling the fire, that is the purpose. All your passion may not be your purpose. See, I love cooking. But I don't see that my purpose is to become a world famous chef or feed 1 million people. I love cooking, but that doesn't mean that that is my purpose. Speaking about celebrating life to people, helping people live a holistic life, that is my passion. And I'm assuming that is my purpose also. You might be wondering why I say assuming, because it's a journey. Our purpose grows with us as well, right? Which I will explain if time permits as we go forward. So the first area of burnout is when your passion and your purpose are not aligned. Sometimes we might be feeling strongly about something and we might get started with that. We might start a business and whatever. And along the way, we might realize that that's not my purpose. Or you might, that passion might be your purpose, but still, that passion might be your purpose, but you're not aware of it. Then also the conflict is there. So many times entrepreneurs, even myself, what I'm sharing with you now, had you met me 10 years ago, I don't think I could have shared this experience so vividly. I would have been talking like I'm living my purpose, I'm living my passion, that very bubbly, yeah kind of a person. But now I'm able to drill it down and say that earlier what I thought about my passion and purpose is very different how I experience it right now. So the misalignment or the burnouts that I've had days where I wept. I have days that I was crushed. I have days that I said, I want to give up. And there are days that I felt, is there some, because I don't believe in suicide or I don't want to suicide. I'm like, is there some way my life can be shortened? Like something catastrophic happens, right? Why I'm sharing this is sometimes when your passion and your purpose is misaligned, it burns you, it eats you up alive. And I've experienced that, right? And I believe many entrepreneurs like ourselves, all of us in ICBN, would at some point in life have experiences. I know William sir, Jonathan sir, and the more elder ones might have experienced this and crossed this, and they are able to recollect how they would have started. But people in my stage who are in the middle place where you are getting more clarity, these problems are still very real. So the first thing that I want to share with you is the misalignment between passion and purpose does cause burnout. So work towards finding your passion or aligning your passion with your purpose. That helps in bringing down the burnout, right? So just to help you like in a tangible way, there was this, I think this is from the Greek story. I can't remember from where. The philosopher was walking around and he was seeing people lay bricks. So he asked one of the workers, what are you doing? So one of the workers says that I'm laying bricks. As he moves forward, he asks another person, what are you doing? That person says, I'm putting up a wall. And then he moves forward and he asks the third person, what are you doing? I'm building a cathedral. And that building that cathedral is the purpose. So I just want to reassure and reiterate, when you align your passion with purpose, it's going to help you. I'm not saying burnout will not be there. It's going to help you rebound faster. So work towards identifying your passion and your purpose and trying to align it together, right? So I think that's the first that I want to start out with. I know it's a very heavy topic, passion and purpose, but that is one area that I burnt my fingers extremely, and I'm still putting out the fires of my misalignment of passion and purpose. I'm still putting out the fires. So that's why I wanted to start out with that, right? Shall I move forward? Yes, thank you. The second area of burnout. Yes, please use the chat box. Thanks. I don't know who BM is. Yeah, but thank you for saying yes. I really do appreciate feedback, and that's one of the things I'm not a big fan of virtual meetings, because the feedback, I can't see people, I can't see their expressions and experiences. That's one of the reasons I prefer on physically, right? Anyway, that's a different problem. At least thank God we have technology to meet like this at least. So I'm happy about that, right? Cool. The second burnout that I want to share about is passion and earning opportunity. There is a saying that is called, an old saying, I think Confucius said this: if you do what you love, you will never work a day in your life. And oh my God, I've been a victim of this or misinterpretation of this quote. I've been a victim of it because you still need to work, right? And as I share this towards the end, you will understand why I meant that we need to still work, even though you're passionate about it. But the first thing that I want to share is that earning without passion and earning a passion that you're trying to earn also. Both of them has an impact on how we burn out. When your passion is linked to your earning, your livelihood, your passion becomes a burnout. Because at the end of the day, your passion is linked to your pay or your bill at the end of the month. How much ever you love your passion, if your bills are not paid, your passion cannot stay as much as kindled as you want it to. And this I'm not sharing from a book. This I'm sharing from my own life. I started out quite young and I burned myself so many times. And one of the things that burned me very much was at the end of the month, how do you make the ends meet? And many times I had to do things that I was not passionate about just to meet my ends. And when I do things that I'm not passionate about, I'm not energized, I'm burned out. So when we link our passion with our income, there are chances that we burn out faster because our passion is the problem now. It is not energizing anymore, right? So there are people, when I was much younger, I used to tell people you should live a passionate life, you should search for your purpose. I remember doing a purpose session to college students about 15 years ago, and I used to tell you should find your purpose and work for your purpose. I was very naive. Now I admire the people who do something pragmatically, who have a job 9 to 5 or 9 to whatever, half a day, who hold on to a job, and on the side they have identified their passion and they're able to work on their passion without the stress of trying to meet their month ends bill. I admire people like that, right? So, but what to do? I was young and I was reckless, but it's okay. It's all part of the growing journey. But that's another area of concern. Now, in case you are in a situation where you feel that your passion is burning you, there's no shame in taking a step back. Because what's the point living your passion if you're miserable inside? Take a step back, de-link your passion and your earning. And there's nothing wrong. And gather yourself and launch again. There's no shame in that, because it's even more shameful to suffer in silence just because you're passionate about something. So if at all this is burning you out, this reason is burning you out, take a step back, right? Now, if you're like me, if you're stuck and there's no way out, then the other alternative I would say is that within your area of craft, you would have identified few passion areas, sub areas. You rank it. Like, for example, I have training, coaching, podcasting, speaking, writing, consulting. I have different things that I can do, that I'm capable of doing because of my experience, my knowledge, and my associations and all of that. But of all of this, the highest ranking is speaking or sharing or doing my podcast. So that has become my passion area. Like, I've conditioned myself to believe, okay, this is my core passion area. Not that other things are not, but just to help me stay sane. The other things I see more as a way of generating income, and the podcast that I do it just for the sheer joy of it. So within the stuck that I am, doing my podcast, Celebrating Life, that is a podcast that brings me a lot of joy. So that re-energizes me to do my other area of passion, even though they are burdensome to me at times, because I have to find revenue from them. So this is one of the steps that I do. I hope it will help you as well, because because this is an area that people are stuck at, right? So this is the second thing that I wanted to share. Yeah, can I go forward? Is that okay? Yeah, I'm just going through different burnouts, and I'll just share my experience, and then we can have a conversation whenever required. That's my modality today, right? If there are any questions, please do post it, or if there's something you want to add, because some of you are much ahead of me in your life journeys and in your business journeys, please feel free to add, because I see every conversation as a learning opportunity. So if there is any thoughts to share, please do share it as well. So the third burnout that I want to share about, I hope I'm not going too fast. I'm just, if I'm fast, do let me know as well. The third burnout that I want to share about is, I think I've struggled with this myself. It's called the imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome. Okay. It is another cause of a burnout. Now, what is an imposter syndrome? Now it is trending on Twitter. Everybody's doing hashtag imposter syndrome, whatever. But before that, I've experienced this a long time ago. Even now, I fight with it. Now, let me to put it in context, what I mean by imposter syndrome to me personally as an entrepreneur. Okay, I'm not talking about the psychology psychology of imposter syndrome. I'm not going into the psychology, the cognitive aspect. I'm just talking from a very entrepreneurial point of view. Right? So when Mr. William he asked me to do this session, and we were bouncing ideas, and we landed upon this business fatigue topic, and immediately there was a voice in my head. The voice in my head is like, Sony, what qualifies you to give a session on business fatigue? You have not made a multi-billion-dollar company. You have not raised dozens of kids. You have not impacted millions of lives. What gives you the quality to talk about this? And that thought, as I'm discussing with sir, that thought is there in my head, right? But then I'm like, no, there are certain life journeys that I've gone. I may not know everything. Definitely, I'm not qualified to speak about business and all of that. I'm only, I would say, even now after a decade, I'm still in the initial stage of my business. So I'm not qualified, but I have experiences of pain that I've gone through that I can share. So people who are with me in my similar journey, who are starting off, can benefit from, right? So let me share. Let me share the incident, that the first time that I remember about how I felt like this, about feeling like an imposter. I think this was in 2008. I think Mr. John, our architect, I call him Rajesh, right? When I was a part of a group of friends, we were doing our training firm, and we were like a group of entrepreneurs, and he invited me to BNI to introduce myself, right? And I introduced myself, and I don't remember what I said, right? But even till date, I know I did not do a good job. I knew I did not present myself. And the irony is, I'm comfortable speaking to 100 people on stage. But when it comes to speaking about me, I always have this voice in my head saying that, are you really that? Is it okay for you to call yourself an entrepreneur? You know how long it took me to so confidently say that I'm an entrepreneur or I'm a business person? It took me some time. It was a journey. It was not easy, right? I can talk about a topic in a very short notice, but talk about myself, it becomes slightly more struggle. So that was the imposter syndrome that I was talking about. The feeling that I have not achieved, I have not reached. How can I call myself an entrepreneur? How can I call myself a business owner, right? I'm not touching enough life. I'm not making enough money. I don't have enough client. And this voice acts as a limitation. And after a point, this becomes a source of burnout. Because every time you take 2 steps forward, we all know in business, we need to put ourselves out there. And every time we're putting out ourselves, this noise in our head keeps taking us back. So this is then another burnout that many entrepreneurs like myself will go through. It is that I am not qualified. That feeling will eat us out. Right? So that's the third burnout that I wanted to share about. And how I got over that is very simple. Simple, but it was very long. I had to work on my relationship with money. I had to work on my understanding of entrepreneurship. I had to work on my understanding of myself, my self-awareness, all of that. It's a long journey. But one of the things that I took up was to gamify this fear. What I mean by that is I used this as a learning opportunity. So every time I fumbled, I would come back, look at my fumble, write something, keep improving. And I've experimented a million times, and I've introduced myself so many different ways to different people. And sometimes I fall flat on my face. It looks very bad. I've lost many opportunities because I was experimenting. But now I'm comfortable. Now I'm more calm. Now imposter syndrome does not cause burnout for me because I am comfortable in my skin. So gamify or use these as a learning opportunity, right? So that is how I came across my imposter syndrome. Again, not from a psychological point of view. That is a different conversation altogether. I'm talking from an entrepreneur point of view, right? All right. Kamal, right? Thank you for that. I liked what you said. We should not shy to step back away. Thank you so much. Had I known this 5 years ago or even 8 years ago, I might have stepped back and restarted again. But like I said, life keeps you learning and growing, right? Cool. So thank you for that feedback. I appreciate that. The next burnout that I want to talk about is passion and something that we all don't like, but this is something that I learned again the hard way, is called operations. So what I mean by that is, we are all eager to do our passion. The minute I started off with being an entrepreneur or starting with my friends, I was like, I'm going to train a lot. I'm going to design more content, because I find a lot of joy in designing content. Like I love putting things together and delivery. So I'm like, I'm going to do a lot of training. I'm going to design a lot of content. I'm going to speak a lot. So I was like, wow, yes, that's what I'm going to do. Couple of months into the business or being an entrepreneur, what I realized is you only get very little time to actually do your passion. Most of the time you're doing operations around it. It can be sales, it can be marketing, it can be talking to people, it can be getting your office right, it can be government. I do not know what. There's a billion different things. It can be website, it can be a business card, but most of your time gets consumed not for your passion area. And that was a disappointment for me. And every time I have to do operation, I just resented it. All I wanted to do was deliver. And the more and the reality, when I realized that that's not going to happen, it really frustrated me. So this is not based out of science, but for impact, I'm just saying, accept the 10:90 ratio. That is 10% you get to do your passion, 90% you run around so that you can do your passion. Again, this is not science. I'm just saying this number for easy recollection. 10 90. 10 is your passion, 90 is your running around, right? So accept this. The second way in I overcome this burnout is outsource your passion vampires. You will identify within your ecosystem. You may not be able to, because of time constraint, money constraint, the right people. It can be any reason. You may not be able to outsource all your, business aspects, but some you can. So if you outsource some of your passion vampires, or whatever is sucking the time from your passion area, you will get more space for it. That's another way you can minimize the burnout of passion conflict with operations, right? So these were the two things that I wanted to share. One is to accept that 10:90, and the second is the passion vampire, right? Yeah, I've got some message from, as I move to, so this is the fourth one. I'm moving to the fifth one. Let me just read this chat. I could not generate revenue in 7 months and decided to join full-time job now to sustain myself. Absolutely, I understand that. I understand that. And I commend you on your courage to do that, because it's not easy. Once you have become an entrepreneur, partially in ourselves, it's difficult to take that decision. Secondly, our society is like waiting to see why this person went back. So it takes courage to go back. I don't know. I did not have that courage, or I was too ignorant. I do not know, but I never did that. But sometimes I do wish I did that, right? But anyway, that's life. We all learn through mistakes, right?
Mr. Sony, there is one more question. For a person with startup, what goes first, passion or livelihood?
Okay, cool. I think I'm now going to take that question right now, because all of you who are more in the journey have better qualified to answer that question. But in my personal case, passion is what? Passion and purpose. Like if I share about that, I'll take a long time, because I'll have to share with you my background, my family background, how my passion and my purpose got intertwined, and then how I have to realize that my passion and my purpose are different, and how my community, my intertwined with my community. My whole life was intertwined with my community. So I had a singular vision of life. And when I detached from my community, I immediately realized that the whole world that I knew of broke off. And then I had to reinvent myself. So I went through some real bad crises in life. And when I say community, like I was part of the CSI Christian community, my whole life was revolving around that. I had to break free from this. I have many reasons. So I think that will take me some time to explain. But yes, mine was a messed up passion and purpose mixed up kind of a thing. But I think it's a personal choice which comes first, right? So I'll just move on to the fifth and sixth, because I think it's 6:40 already. But that question, if time is there, I think we can all discuss that question. But for me, it was a mashup of both passion and purpose, right? Burnout reason 5. And this is passion in conflict with wholeness of life. This is my special area, passion and conflict with wholeness of life. What I mean by that is, many times our passion blinds us, right? And because our passion blinds us, we only see one area of life, and that is our passion area. What happens is, there are other areas of life, let's say health, let's say wealth, let's say significant others, let's say your interests and hobbies, let's say your family and friends, let's say your social contribution, let's say your personal growth, all of this, your spirituality, all of these are different areas of your life. At times, because the passion becomes singular, you tend to miss out on this. So there is an imbalance in life, right? And my father is a classical example of that. I'm very candid. Even I tell him also very honestly that it would have been, you achieved many things, but it would have been nice if you lived a wholer life. He was an absolutely brilliant person, well achieved, at the top of his career or craft or whatever you want to call. He was an amazing leader, and there's so much I've learned from him. But one thing that I always share with him, right now he's retired, I share with him is the other areas of life, particularly that I've noticed, is we miss out on relationship, we miss out on health, we miss out on our interests and hobbies. At the end of the day, we only get one chance to live. All your passions may not be your interests and hobbies as well, right? So these are some of the areas that we miss out on. So the wholeness of life is something that when your wholeness of life and your passion comes into conflict, and it will happen. It will happen, maybe not initially, because initially you're blinded, but one fine morning you will see it, and then you will feel that conflict. And when you feel that conflict, it's going to burn you out. Your passion is going to burn you out. So the wholeness of life is something that is very important for you to become, to mitigate your burnout. So let me just put it this way to you for understanding how our passion very nicely ignores the wholeness of life. Let me put it this way to you. Jailer and prisoner have jail and prison. They have both same meaning. But when you add an ER, jailer and prisoner has very different meaning. Jail and prison has the same meaning. But when you add ER to the end of the word, they have very different meanings, right? So the question is, are you a prisoner of time or a jailer of time? So what I mean by that is, whenever we ask, do you have time? From the sweeper to the CEO, from the young to the oldest, we say, I have no time. I have no time. We're very clear in saying that. But many times what we understand is, what we don't realize it, every time we say the word, I have no time, it implies subconsciously that I am not in control of my life. Now, let me bring it together to make it more contextual. Now, when I say to my son that I have no time to play with you, it can mean that I have no time right now, or I just don't have the power to manage my time right now. Let it be whatever reason. Now, imagine you reframe that sentence. I have no time. I have no time to play with you, or I keep adding the adjectives. I have no time to be with you right now. I have no time to spend with you right now. I have no time right now, or I have no time to do this. I have no time to do that. Every time you say that I have no time for that because it is not important to me right now. Imagine I say, I have no time for playing with you because it is not important for me. Every time you say this, try this exercise. Every time you say this to other area of life, I'm not talking about your passion area, I'm talking about your other area of life. Soon you will realize either you're doing more of what is what will help you have a wholeness of life, or you'll realize your life is in balance. Every time you use a sentence, I have no time for that because it is not important for me now. Use that sentence. That is the kicker. Because I have no, it is not important for me now. Every time we use this, then we will start realizing how our time is spent. Because at the end of the day, we can't manage our time. That's a misnomer. We can only manage our life, because time is linear. Whether you jump up, down, left, right, the sun sets, it keeps going. We can't manage our time. We can only manage our life. And every time we say, I have no time, and then you add this sentence, because it's not important for me now, then you will realize how many areas of your life you're missing because you're passionate. And when this realization comes, it becomes a burnout, right? So this is the other area that I wanted to speak about, passion and wholeness of life. Within this, there's one more within the wholeness, I want to pick up one special area, and that special area is a relationship. The reason I want to pick up this area is because relationship is an area of power. Relationship can be an area of power, but if not nurtured, it can be a place of pain. And many entrepreneurs struggle with this, particularly their significant relationship. I mean, like their partner would be the first contact. It can be their parents, it can be their children, but the significant people in their life, when those relationships are not nurtured, they become a source of pain when they could have become a source of strength. Many burnouts in leaders, in entrepreneurs, in business people happens when their passion is in conflict with their stakeholder. And that is a sixth burnout reason, when their passion is in conflict with their stakeholders. Their primary stakeholders are their partners, with no doubt about that, right? Recently, one of my friends was telling me that he's resigning his job and he's planning to become an entrepreneur. He asked me about how to do the business and all of that. I said, I will talk to you about business later, but there are two things you need to first realize. One, entrepreneurial journey. There's a journey that you'll have to take. Knowledge is not sufficient. There will be a learning that will happen. The second, I said, the victims of your passion. You need to understand who are your victims. I know his wife and I know his child. If they fall from the lifestyle that they're living right now, there's going to be a lot of struggle between all of them. So this burnout number 6 is when your passion is in conflict with your stakeholders. So what I would say is always try to see how best you can align, bring your stakeholders on board with you, be sensitive to them. Don't take them for granted. They just don't take, because I'm passionate, because I've been ignorant. Again, I learned this the hard way. Me and my wife had difficult time in the beginning because I was like, I'm living my passion. But when I say that I'm living my passion, the victim of that passion is my spouse and my people around me, my inner circle. And I was not sensitive to that. I was ignorant to that. So a place that could have been a place of strength became a place of pain for me. But I had to work on it. And once I worked on it, the same place has become a place of strength for me now. Now I'm able to do more. I'm able to be more calmer. I'm able to be so much more comfortable in my skin. I think the ability for me to say I'm an entrepreneur itself is because the place that my relationship has become a place of strength for me, right? So that is the way to overcome the burnout of when your passion is in conflict with your stakeholders, right? So I think I'm at the end of the time, and I've shared about 6 different burnouts, and I've shared some steps that I've taken. I really hope that it has brought value to your life. And if you have gone through the experiences that I've gone through, all I'm saying is you're not alone. All of us at some point, even the more people who have ahead of us in our journey would have gone through some variant of this. I'm not saying all of you would have gone through everything, but we've all gone through some variant. So remember this, your passion and your purpose, the more it's aligned, the more you can manage your burnout. The more your passion and your stakeholders are aligned, the more you can manage your burnout. The more you realize that operations are part of your passion, that it is going to be easier to manage the burnout. And the imposter syndrome, it'll take some getting used to it, but when you're passionate and you commit on yourself, you can overcome that as well. So all of these 6 areas has helped me mitigate much of my burnout and keep smiling even in the midst of storm. And I just shared that with you. I hope it's been a value to you. Thank you all for trusting me with your time, and have a wonderful evening. And if there are any questions, please ask. Thank you.
We have a few minutes for any questions that you may have.
Yes, I have a question for Mr. Sony Thomas.
Yes.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Yes, I'm Carol D'Souza. Talking about the passion vampires, I have a big vampire in my closet, that is labor. I always have a problem. Now, how do I manage or outsource this? As you said, if you've got what is that, a problem, this one, you can outsource it. Now, I just don't know how to outsource this labor issue. Can you please guide me on this?
Right. So labor issue, is it the labor law part of it or human resource part of it? Which
Human
one?
resources, human resources.
Okay. Which industry?
I run a restaurant and I'm very passionate about it.
Right.
But my biggest passion vampire are the staff.
Right.
So how do I manage them? I cannot outsource them because I've taught them so many things over the years. How do I outsource them? Because they're my biggest vampires.
Right. So you mean from an attrition point of view that they're leaving or they're not behaving?
Not behaving. Since it's always a woman oriented, I mean, in my industry, it's always men who have handled these guys. And in my industry, I'm the only woman here who is handling, and they can't digest it. It's very difficult from a woman who orders things to be done. And now, after they have learned everything, it's like, okay, we can take her for a ride. We can do what we want. It's difficult to manage them. How do I, because I know I'm doing well in my areas, but this vampire is never letting me sleep. It's actually a burnout for me.
Right. I definitely understand what you mean. However, I don't think I can give you a one-point answer right now, because one, we have to look at what is the organization culture happening there. How are they receiving your leadership? Is there some leadership tweaking that you personally can do? Is there somebody you can put in the middle of
leadership tweaking happens in a organized sector. These are unorganized. This sector is come and go. The very low class helpers, cleaners. It's that there's no understanding, there's no reasoning with them. It's only money. That's it. They only speak in terms of money. There's no organization, there's nothing. No matter how brilliant you are, you can't put your point across through them.
Right.
So that is where I'm being hit.
Yeah. Maybe I think, we can, after the call also, have a one-to-one with Mr. Sony also, so that, more clarity, more discussions can be done. I think, it's not a topic that can be just sorted out over the one thing.
Can I help?
Thank you so. Yes, brother Kamal Charan. Yeah.
Who's the person who asked this question, Madam?
It's me, Carol.
Carol is the Mangalorean.
Okay, Carol.
Yes.
I hope you know, I have had a restaurant as a passion, apart from my
Beijing, heavenly Beijing or something like that.
This problem of labor is not only in our line, it's all over now, presently, but especially in our line, it's quite a lot, because most of us are depending on the Northeast people. Northeast people get attracted for a small change, and for few reasons they keep changing the job. Apart from the monetary, they would like to see the comfort of their friends staying somewhere. They would like to stay here. The only solution I found is we have to retain them by giving them little more extra comfort. And that's not, again, 100% solution, but to some extent it works. The second, what I try to do is, I tell them, bring your friends here. Instead of you going and joining your friends elsewhere, bring them here, we'll give them comfort. And there you have to make sure that they don't make a union again.
Thank you so much, Brother Kamal.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kamal Charan.
Appreciate that.
This is a huge topic that we have to discuss in detail, because as Kamal sir was saying, there are so many techniques you can do, but beyond techniques, it's still a people issue.
True.
Because I've also burned my finger with the hotel industry. That's why I'm saying.
Since I was from that industry, I answered a question. Thank
you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Absolute brilliant answer.
Are there any other questions that we have? I think Naveen sir acknowledges, he says, love your passion and clarity in sharing, especially the practical experience. Thank you for a terrific evening of learning. Thank you, Naveen sir. Yes, any other questions before we move on? So Grace says, it was a great listening to you, Sony sir. You have discussed about passion and purpose both of which are mixed up and messed up in general. Have a great learning coming up, coming from this talk. God bless everyone. Thank you for that. Yeah.
So Sony Trini here.
Yeah.
Can I say something earlier?
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah, we're talking about this time management. Actually, when you say no time, more we repeat that, we don't get time at all. That's what I learned from the power of positive thinking. It says it's auto suggestion. More we say, that will embed in our system.
Yeah.
So always we must try to express positively.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir.
Very true. Very true.
Can I add something to Sony, if you don't mind? Sony, yes. I'm sorry, I'm coming in between. It is only an adding up out of my experience.
Yes.
Can I?
Yes, please.
Absolutely,
please,
sir.
Please.
This is a conversation. We can all add.
Oh, yeah. You know, what I did is, when I was a student from the school, we all get the timetable. I thought, you know, making a timetable based on the school timetable was better. For example, today we have an exam in our timetable. You know, preparing for the exam in the morning is another, adding the timetable to that timetable. Am I right? So this exercise came in help of in business too. Like, you know, we make our own life timetable right from the morning till night. How do we spend our time? And honestly, I always tell people during the time of when I used to be very busy, my friends used to ask me, how do you attend? I was not leaving any funeral or marriage or any functions. I was attending everything, including some movies. So they were wondering, how do I get time? So time management is making a timetable from morning till night, what time to get up, what time to sleep, along with all those, this one. This is, I'm just adding on my experience, you know, how it could be done. Hope it is useful to
you. That's very, I mean, that's a good insight. And
my humble submission, that's it.
Yeah.
Don't take it otherwise that it's only an experience.
Yeah. No, it's good actually, you know. I think, you know, as experience, you know, we all learn to catch up with these things and balance our life.
Very true.
Very true. As Naveen sir also said, that was something that I wanted to say, but he's put it in the chat. He says, I guess another cause of fatigue could be difficult in balancing profession, passion, and family. Personally lost balance as my daughter was growing. You know, I think, you know, we as an entrepreneurs, we all go through that fatigueness, you know, how to balance our lives. Sometimes, you know, we are so much caught up with our passion and our profession that we miss out those early years of our children growing.
I like what Sony said, the prioritize between the passion and the career. You know, you had put it very nicely, Sony. So people should follow that.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you so much. If there are no other questions, maybe we can just move on. Okay, yeah. So, I mean, there are many other questions that I have, but probably like, you know, we can just have another discussion on that topic. But for those who have joined here this evening, I would love to hear from you. What are some of the topics that we can take up, you know, in ICBN, which would make relevance to what we are doing? You know, something like, you know, business fatigue is something that, you know, we all need to learn. And I'm truly blessed this evening of what I heard. And probably I have to take a step back and put up things to see, like, you know, what are the next way forwards in my life as well. So please put it on the group, ICBN group. What are some of the topics that you'd love us to address, so that it will be easy for us to, you know, find the resource people to address those topics. And our intention is to see how we can grow together. Development, it's not one side, but it's a holistic development as well. Okay. Sister Maria, would you like to say something? I can see your
No. Thank you. I'm looking
Okay.
forward for the next topic.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you
Thank
can
you
put
so much.
what topic would you like us to be,
Yes,
focusing on?
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, thank you. So as we come to the closure of this webinar this evening, I would like Sister Carol to please pronounce the vote of thanks, and thereafter Mrs. Rashmi Sikweria to please close us in prayer.